Okay, getting started for this week's sales pulse, we have more home inventory enters the market. Last week, I had made a comment that we had an increase in single family homes coming to the market. And here you see we had a 3.3% increase just from May to June over the last couple of months. So hopefully, I'm hoping that we're going to see an increase in inventory for this multifamily market to help out with our lack of sales, because the thing that is contributing to the lack of sales is the lack of inventory. Okay, so Orange County had a total of 14 closed sales last week. That is about average for Orange County and up a little bit from last week. I think we had 12 closed sales last week. The total days on market, or average days on market, is 36 days for those closed sales. The 36 days on market, or average days on market, is about normal for Orange County, and it has been for the last few months. We had 6 transactions that sold at or above asking price. It's almost half of the total amount of sales. And there was 5 transactions that were all cash transactions. Most of the listing inventory we have is new listings, 14 new listings last week, and the months of inventory held steady at 3 months. The total number of active listings, that is also at about an average of 154 right now. Long Beach had a total of 9 closed sales last week. That's up from the prior 2 weeks where we had 6 closed sales in those weeks. So a little bit of an increase there. Transactions sold at or above asking price, there was just 2, where typically Long Beach has seen transactions selling at or above asking price, almost half of the transactions. So a little bit of a decline there. The average days on market is 41 days. There were 3 closed sales of significance that you might want to click on the live MLS link and take a look at. There was a 6-unit building on 3rd Street, a 6-unit building on Orizaba, and then an 8-unit building on Martin Luther King Jr. All those sales were larger than fourplex buildings, and that typically we're not seeing very many of those. So those are something you might want to take a look at, get an idea of how things are going in the 5+ unit market in Long Beach. As far as active listings go, there was just 5 new listings last week, bringing the total number of active listings to 99. And months of inventory is at 3 months. These are all pretty consistent here. And expected probably to remain that way for the short term. Los Angeles County had a total of 101 closed sales last week. That's up from 93 the prior week, and the first time we've been over 100 for a few weeks. The 45 transactions sold at or above asking prices, pretty common for almost half the sales to be at or above asking price for Los Angeles County. Closed sales average days on market, 45. That's up a bit. Typically, it's more 35 or less. There is a total of 162 new listings last week, bringing the total number of listings to 1,809. That's over 1,800 for the first time in quite a while. We've been bumping below 1,800 for the last few months. So you see a slight increase in inventory, but the months of inventory, it remains the same at 10 months. Okay, San Diego County had a total of 10 closed sales last week. Out of those 10 closed sales, 7 of those transactions sold at or above asking price. And that just shows that the San Diego County market is still real tough on investors, and you've got to really be aggressive in order to have the buyer that gets the offer accepted. 36 days is the average days on market for closed sales. And that's the first time this closed sales average days on market has been over 30 days in quite a while. I think it's just a 1 week abnormal stat. So I think it'll probably go back down below 30 next week. But San Diego County is a very strong market for investment property right now. Okay, with 31 new listings last week, that's a high for new listings in 1 week in quite a while. We're still seeing the total number of active listings right around the 195. That's again about normal, and months of inventory is at 12 months is pretty consistent also with previous week stats. Okay, Riverside County had a total of 6 closed sales last week, and 2 of those transactions sold at or above asking price. The average days on market is 43 days. That all 3 of these stats here are pretty consistent. There was 3 closed sales that increased this average sales price up to $870,250. 3 of the 6 closed sales sold at over $1 million, where that's a rare occurrence for Riverside County, as most sales occur at around the $500,000 mark, or $500,000 to $600,000. Okay, new listings in Riverside last week, there was just 2. That might be an all-time low for new listings in 1 week for Riverside County. The total number of active listings is 102, and we still are remaining with 3 months of inventory. So everything else in these stats here for listings is pretty much consistent with prior weeks. Nothing much changing other than the fact that the new listings last week was way down. Okay, San Bernardino County had a total of 12 closed sales last week. That's pretty consistent with prior weeks, maybe up a little bit, but fairly consistent with most weeks. There were 7 transactions that sold at or above asking price. That's one more than half. So the majority of the sales were over or at or above asking price. 25 days is all the average days on market, so very short timeline for sales of properties in San Bernardino County. And the listing inventory, we had 21 new listings last week. That's the most we've seen in quite a while for San Bernardino County, bringing the total number of active listings to 143, another high point for inventory of listings in San Bernardino County. Although the months of inventory stayed relatively the same at 7 months, it's been consistently 7 months for quite a while. So nothing major there, but just seeing a lot of total listings active.